Hi everyone, welcome to Working with Your Gifts. Now this is a short introduction that is going to describe what these readings are meant to illuminate for you. If you don't want to listen to it, you can skip right to the reading by clicking in the timestamp below. So for anyone who is new, welcome. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and Meaning-Based Spiritual Coaching Services. Now, what does meaning-based spiritual coaching services mean? That means that I utilize the principles of logotherapy, which is a school of psychoanalysis thought that focuses on illuminating you as an individual. What makes you different? What makes your experience of life different so that you can find your own meaning within your life. But first, you have to be aware of yourself and what makes you unique. And the second step is being able to connect that unique self with your external environment to understand where these unique parts of yourself fit into the greater collective human experience. So this reading specifically is the first baby step to getting you to become self-aware of innate gifts that are unique to you. Now, since these are general readings, these are going to focus on the broader overview of looking at your astrological sign, which is going to be in one of your three main house placements in your birth chart, which is either your sun, your moon, or your rising sign. Now, you can look at all three of these. I do recommend watching a video for each of those because each one focuses on something slightly different. So when we're looking at your sun sign. Your sun sign tends to focus more on illuminating aspects of yourself, gifts to tap into that pertain specifically to your spiritual experience. When I say spiritual, I mean more of like your grand overarching purpose, that feeling inside of you, that those innate instinctual drives to enact a vision for the world that you emotionally connect to. For your rising sign, when you look at the sign associated with your rising sign, this is more about how you are perceived by others in the world. And I've heard some say it's kind of like the role you're meant to play. So if you're looking at this as being an actor in a play, this is where you get to step onto stage and how others view you in your role. And this is an important aspect because oftentimes we're so focused on our sun sign placements that we don't realize that there's an element of how others see us, and that the sign placement that is associated with our rising sign has to do more with our physical experience of life, how others perceive us in our physical world, and how we in turn actually act and interact on a physical level with our experience. And then we have our moon sign placements. Now, moon sign placements I feel are incredibly important to be aware of because this is where we tie directly into our emotional core. It's where we actually also act kind of from a place of our instinct. It's where we act from a subconscious place. So this can be important because in understanding the unique gifts and the unique attributes to the sign that is in your moon placement, you can gain a broader understanding of where you can find emotional fulfillment and perhaps where you're blocking yourself off from emotional fulfillment. So I do find that moon sign placement can be very important. It's also where you can start to see and become aware of where you act instinctually. So when pushed by your external environment, what's your first instinct to act? Your first instinct to emotionally connect with that either event or situation or person. And so it can actually provide a lot of insight into perhaps areas where you need to grow a little bit in an emotional sense. You know, if your first instinct is always to burst into tears or to get extremely angry, that's where we can start to understand, okay, this is why we're emotionally blocked from feelings of happiness and fulfillment, because we are not expressing the gifts that lie within our kind of subconscious instinctual level of reaction, and where we've blocked ourselves off from actually growing this part of ourselves, from evolving from almost more of like a childlike blah throw a tantrum type tendency to really fine-tuning this and utilizing this emotional connection to heighten and really allow for your emotional responses to be impactful both to others and to yourself. So that's kind of an overview of what we're going to be looking at here. What we're going to be diving into in each one of these readings is to take a look at what are the key gifts for the sign. And I look at the gifts for the sign meaning you are born with a specific birth chart, which is unique to you. No other person will have the same birth chart as you. It is your fingerprint that separates you from all others. And so as part of this blueprint that you have, there are layers to this. So there's the first layer of more of a general overview of kind of what divinely you are given as your broad goal and role to fill in the greater collective. Meaning, let's have an example. Let's say you were born as a Taurus. Now, Taurus is a sign of stability. It's an earth sign. It's a fixed earth sign. So you're working with the gifts of stability. In addition to that, there's working with the gifts of creating structure, working with the gifts of working with your tangible environment. And these are things that are meant to be utilized by you in your day-to-day to not only help you feel connected to an innate part of yourself, but also to help fill a role in the greater collective experience. So not everybody is born with Taurus in one of their 3 main house placements. But if you are, then you're meant to be an example to others or to fill roles that the other signs cannot, so that you really fill in the gaps and keep the balance going between everybody and all of their unique gifts. So the more that you start to become aware of your unique gifts and you start to tap into them on a high level, then you can start to break it down and go deeper into a very personal and singular individual level, where you start to then uncover your own unique abilities and gifts that don't tie directly back to your sign placements. Instead, they tie back to you as the individual. And that's where getting a personal reading would help uncover that aspect of yourself. But we get to be aware in stages. So it isn't about when you're starting this road to uncovering who you are, so that you can start to answer fully your own I am question. And when I talk about what is the I am question, it's if somebody right now was to walk up to you and say, announce to the world, step on stage and tell people about yourself. Who are you? And you would start by stepping up and saying, I am. And how would you answer that question? Now, a lot of us might have certain things that we could, say right off the bat. I am a mother. I'm a construction worker. I am fill in the blank. But where we go a little deeper is this is here to answer the larger, deeper I am question. Who are you at your core, and what is your purpose and place in this world? And I think most of us are, at some point in our lives, we come to this existential crisis of trying to figure that out, of do I matter? Does my life hold meaning? Where do I find meaning in life for myself? And that first step is becoming self-aware. And it happens in layers. We don't just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm going to be self-aware today. It's finding a starting place that works for you that starts to unlock that connection again between yourself and your uniqueness in your external environment. So it's baby steps. As an example for this would be like you saying, okay, I realize I'm not feeling happy and emotionally fulfilled in my life. So I am going to start to utilize techniques like meditation or self-awareness practices, or just finding the time to do one thing a day that brings me some type of enjoyment, whether that's building in time to go for a walk by myself, or finding the time to reconnect with a hobby that you maybe have long since pushed to the side. Like, I'm going to start writing a little bit again every day, or I'm going to take out my paint set that I haven't utilized in 15 years and start to just doodle with it. These are the ways that we start to tap back into our connection to self. And that's where our connection to the greater collective experience starts. It starts with connecting to ourself again as a unique individual. And then from there, once we have a healthy connection to ourself and awareness of self, we can then go out into the external environment and connect that unique self with our external environment so we can start to understand where we fit in. And that's really where then we start the adventure to find meaning for ourselves. So I hope this has been illuminating and informative. And your video will start right now. Thanks, guys. Bye. Hi, all my lovely Sagittariuses. Welcome to your Working with Your Gifts reading. So this reading is here to take a quick, energetic look at the gifts that you were innately born with just by being born under the sign of Sagittarius in one of your 3 main house placements. Now, Sagittarius, you are what I like to call the spiritual adventurer. You are the honeybee of the zodiac. You guys get to tap into, by being a mutable fire sign, the ability to adapt and handle change very easily, which is desperately needed right now as our whole collective human experience is going through this great time of change. But in addition to that, you have this beautiful gift to be tapped into a level of spirituality where it gets you the excitement and the fire and the passion to want to go out and meet many different people, to be able to gather information from many different people and cultures and environments, and be able to share that in a way that is positive and innovative, actually, as well, because you can be able to, in your adventures, take a little bit from everything and be able to create new spiritual structures. You can communicate on a level with others that can be very impactful. And when I say communicate, that doesn't mean that it's verbal. This can also just be how you are physically. You can actually integrate this into other avenues that you choose to take on, be it creative. You can express your viewpoints, your innovative viewpoints through art, through being able to bring kind of a new, fresh perspective to any work environment, actually. And I think right now, more than anything, the innate gifts that you are meant, the kind of role that you're meant to fulfill as this honeybee, is to be able to bring attention to the beauty of the duality that we are all different. And we all live in varying levels of, different cultures and religions and environments. And yet at the same time, we are all connected by this level of spirituality. By you can see the importance in the differences. And that's actually a unifying factor, that even though we're all different on the surface, there's this underlying component to we're all tapped in and connected through the same spirit. And you have this ability as a fire sign to be able to take action from that place. which is beautiful. So the kind of overarching role that you have to play in the human collective experience is really to be that of someone who shows others what it's like to live a life that comes from a place of passion. That you go out and you, on a certain level, do what feels good. That you are able to show others what freedom of choice and acting from a place of passion looks like. What does that mean? That means that when you decide, when you're being asked to say yes or no to something, you have this ability to tap into, well, am I passionate about that? How does that make me feel? And you're able to then say yes or no to taking an action towards that. Where a lot of people might get stuck in almost going up into their headspace and overthinking, well, should I, if I don't, because of this, this, and this, or going into their emotions and feeling it too much. And with you guys, it's more about, you're more about action from passion. And so you're going to instantly check in with yourself on that passionate level and say, does this feel good? Can I see myself doing this and enjoying it? And you instantly will say yes or no. There's this level of ability to take action from a true place of authenticity. And I think that that's really what our society needs, but also our actual collective human experience needs right now, is to see what it looks like to live a passionate life. And you, I love this. And your spirit animal card is Giraffe Spirit. See the big picture. And this is exactly what I was saying. Now it's number 29, which is beautiful. The number reduces to the number 11, which 11 in the tarot is, it always makes me think of actually Sagittarius, which is this ability to kind of see beyond what is, to be able to tap into this beautiful doorway and this connection between us and what is possible through spirit. And also the connection, because it's two number ones, it's the connection between you as an individual and the individuality of another, and how together, through the respect of that difference in two people, you can actually open the door to new opportunities, and this kind of innovative working with spirit to create new visions for the future. So for you guys to see the bigger picture, this is, I think, when I bring this back kind of to the spiritual adventurer, this is about tapping into that part of yourself that, as you kind of take a look at your life and as you start to, take action towards things, to start to see the bigger connectivity of that you may be meeting all of these individual people, and you may be choosing to say yes to a new job, or say yes to a new relationship, or say yes to a different way of doing something in your life. But as you're doing that, to tap into, especially like right now, because we're looking at the energy of right now, to see the bigger picture of what you bring to that, to see where, by kind of pollinating yourself in all these different ways, like putting yourself in all these different positions and making all these changes and communicating with all these different people, what are you noticing? What is the connective element between all of the things that you're doing right now? And really take stock of that, because there's a deeper message in there for you guys. As far as, I think, especially coming with the number 29, the number 11, that there is this element of you guys are going through a period right now where you can actually see a little forward. It's almost like being able to get to the top of the hill when everybody else is at the bottom of it, and you get to see what's on the other side. And for you, you get to see a little glimpse of what's coming up for the collective human experience. And I think because you are the spiritual adventurer, you're the one who's going to race to that top faster and and make the decision to do so more than any other sign will. And so that's kind of the role you're being asked to step into right now, is to run up to the top of the mountain, take a look at what's on the other side, and come back to help communicate and start to help others work towards what you know is waiting. I think it's a beautiful message, actually. Very needed right now. Oops. Let's see. Pulling some tarot cards now just to get some extra clarification to see if there's any specific messages that come up, I will share those. But most of these, there's way too many here. Let's see if we can get any others. Anything else for our Sagittariuses to know about seeing the bigger picture? Seeing the bigger picture. It looks like I might just take these two cards. Doesn't look like anything else is going to come out at the moment. So I have two cards here. 4 of Pentacles and 7 of Swords. Very interesting. Now, what's interesting to me is that 7 and 4 together also reduce to the number 11. So you have a little bit of this mirroring, except that this is telling you to see the bigger picture and to kind of lean in to, I think, what's to come. And this, the 7 of Pentacles and the 7 of Swords and the 4 of Pentacles, is kind of the dark mirrors. It's like the black mirror version of this, which is not wanting to see the bigger picture. This is not wanting to lean into the beautiful change, not wanting to lean into this new vision that you can tap into to see for not only your specific individual experience, but for the collective in general. Because the 7 of Pentacles is about kind of running away. It can be self-sabotage. It could be that somebody else is, bringing this energy into yours. Somebody is trying to get away with something. But what I see more here with the 4 of Pentacles, so the 4 of Pentacles is kind of holding yourself back. It's that element of not wanting to I always look at this card as I am not wanting to invest, take the risk. I don't want to change anything in my physical environment. I don't want to risk my current physical security. And this is where the self-sabotage is coming in. This is where it's almost like you're trying to get away from the fact that you're being asked to step into this role of change and to start acting towards this bigger picture. It's almost like you were asked to come up, see the other side of what's on the other side of the hill, and you're like, I don't want to invest in that. That's a lot. That's a lot. And that means that I'm going to have to now give something physical towards that. I'm going to have to give time, energy, resources towards helping and create and enact this change that I know can happen. And even though I know it's beautiful because it's coming directly from this, tapping into this vision through spirit, I don't want to do it. I want to run away. And in your mind, you're like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Because I don't have this isn't, I don't have enough. This is more of like, I'm just good. I have enough. And what Spirit is saying right now is, yeah, it's good. You have security. But see beyond that. See beyond. Don't get stuck into the negative headspace of, I can't. Like, this can really be a card of true self-sabotage of, I can't. I don't want to see that right now. This is all I can take with me, and so I'm going to try to just like sneak away and pretend that I don't need to, and I'm not being asked to step up into something bigger. So Sagittarius, I'm going to get a couple more clarifier cards for the 7 of Swords. Let's see what's coming out. Let's see what you're trying to run from, what you're trying to avoid, and why. What are you trying to hang on to? Oh, okay. We have the King of Pentacles that just came out. And we have the Ten of Pentacles. Oh my gosh. You're trying to run from manifesting abundance, your ultimate abundance and legacy in the tangible world. So the Ten of Pentacles is exactly this. It's your legacy. It's what would make you feel like you have everything that you see in this picture here, that you have people around you, you have situations around you. It's the ultimate culmination of all of your hard work and efforts in this lifetime, combined with the King of Pentacles, which is about being able to manifest this, especially manifest, on a financial side, but manifesting anything that really is tied to your physical world. And so if you look at this is so interesting. It's like it's like the Black Mirror version of the same thing. So you could either be the King of Pentacles, or you could be running away from that with a negative thought pattern of, I have to stay in this job. I can't invest anymore. I can't change anything. I can't release anything. I have to hold on to what I have. And yet the other side of the mirror is showing you ultimately what, by just investing the 4 coins you have here, that they can become the ultimate 10 coins. So there's this element of mirroring going on, of fear versus what can be, which I think is really interesting about here in the number 11 and being able to kind of see through that portal. You're being asked to see, and I think you guys are seeing it. You're seeing what you want. You're seeing your own potential. You're seeing what can lead to your legacy. But instead of being this spiritual adventurer where you're like, ooh, the honeybee, I'm just going to go out and try it, and I'm going to do what feels good, and I'm going to take action, it's like you're overthinking it. And this is what's holding you back from this. So you can either choose to stay here in this basically false sense of security, a place where you're not taking action based on passion. Or you could step into your true power and realize true abundance for yourself. This is what's on the other side of the hill. And this is what you're sitting with now. And when we're looking at this from a individual perspective, this is making some, change in your life and being ready to understand that you harness this power to manifest your own abundance through tapping into your passion, through tapping into what you've seen on the other side of that spiritual doorway. And it's yours to have. And then the other side is that you're sitting here too afraid to too afraid to meet the change, which is not a Sagittarius at all. So I really think you guys, that's why you're being asked to see the bigger picture, to be reminded, hey, you guys are meant to act from a place of passion. So if it feels like something you want to make a legacy, I'd say for you guys specifically, this is a good kind of litmus test for you to see where you're at and what feels good. If you guys on your deathbed were to look back and say, I regret not doing something, what would that be? Because that's what's going to tie you into knowing kind of where your legacy lies, what you ultimately want for your life. You're not a sign, Sagittarius, that should ever regret anything on their deathbed. And so in addition to that, so thinking about being an example on a larger level to others, this is why you're being asked to right now get over your fears, step up into the positive, not the black mirror side, but the positive mirror side that is in tune with spirit, to start to step towards and create your legacy by getting back out there again, by investing your time and your energy and your resources to realize that that basically stability and safety is an illusion, and that's going to be your point of self-sabotage. So it's time to get back out there. It's time to do what you do best, which is to interact with others, to engage and kind of cross-pollinate on a spiritual level, to help in doing that show the importance to the rest of the human collective experience, what it's like to just go out and enjoy living as your authentic self, and using your direct connection to spirit, that eternal flame of passion, as the divining rod as to which way to go. All right, Sagittarius, I hope this has been helpful and a little bit illuminating. I hope you guys do choose to see the big picture and to see where, by following this little passion, it can unlock and lead to your legacy, to true ultimate fulfillment on a physical level of what you'd like to manifest for yourself. All right, I'll see you at your next Working with Your Gift reading. If you'd like to book a personal reading or a one-on-one spiritual coaching session, the link to my website is in the description box below. Bye, Sagittarius.